So I think if we look around the world in terms of what's been happening over the last few years, I think it's become more evident that we've got some breakdown, societal breakdown. We're maybe a bit more disconnected in our communities than we were in the past. We have probably got a lot of power that's gone up into the hands of a small few, and they're maybe trying to dominate with that power rather than be more inclusive and helping to empower other people so that we can have fair access to resources and also to be able to make better decisions around how we look after one another and how we look after the planet. All of those things play into really a lack of awareness, a lack of self-control, people being fueled by their primal instincts and some of their emotional impulses to just acquire things and keep acquiring and growing at all costs, rather than maybe starting to be more in control of our emotional impulses and being able to make a decision that is more balanced, thinking more about less about me and more about we. So it's about how can the things that I do benefit the majority of people rather than just self-interest. Mindfulness really helps us to tap into that much more and help us to make these decisions and choices that feel much more aligned with our heart rather than emotion or ego, which is something that dominates a lot of people's lives. It's something that that if we can start to get mindfulness into communities, then we start to be able to relate better to one another, be able to not only understand our own feelings and our impulses, but also to understand other people's too. And then when we understand that, we can start to be more understanding of one another, more compassionate of one another within our communities, and that then starts to ripple out and grow. And when communities can start to come together socially, because that's a really core part of our ability to have a really good level of well-being and a meaningful life, is that social interaction. But if we don't know how to socially interact, or if we are mistrusting of other people and all that kind of stuff, then it creates disconnection. So we want to create connection and understanding. So I think from that place, what we can start to do with bringing mindfulness into more organisations, more parts of the community, is that people will start to feel that they can connect more with one another and start to create more to change the culture within our communities. And the more that happens, we're starting to take back control of our own lives and our own destiny, rather than relying on other people to provide for us, to tell us what we need to do. We're starting to do that ourselves within our communities. So when we take back control of our situation, we can do things that are more self-sustaining within the community, rather than kind of everybody going out and buying the same things. We can, agree that we only need one or two of these for the community and we can share it. Then that kind of leads into more of a sustainable way of living that then, can start to then flow out into other communities. So I think mindfulness can really have a positive influence on not only the well-being of the population, but also how we socially connect with one another, how we emotionally connect with one another. That, for me, over time, is going to have a very positive ripple across the world. And if we can get more people to sort of raise their awareness, come into a higher level of consciousness, then that in itself is going to drive better decisions and people making better choices that are more in line with protecting the planet and looking after one another in a better way.